My name's Zio, and the other day I put out a post that sparked some discussion. Serious question here. What keeps people coming back to a game over the years despite its problems? And you know what? I got a pretty wide range of responses here. There were some pretty common themes here, like familiarity, love for the franchise, friends, camaraderie. It's a place where it feels familiar and you know what to expect. Most times we look for something, but we want something to always come back to and relax to turn off our brain and unwind. Familiarity has some important facets to it. For one thing, familiarity reduces cognitive load. Your brain doesn't have to do as much heavy lifting when dealing with things you're used to already. You know, like the layout of your home, your route to and from work, the layout of a particular dungeon in a game, stuff like that. It's also an evolutionary safety mechanism. Our ancestors who recognized their surroundings were more likely to survive. Things feel less threatening and more predictable, thus reducing anxiety. And of course there's the big one, nostalgia. That's always a big driving factor. It goes beyond mere warm, fuzzy feelings though. It's also an anchor to a time where things felt less messy, less chaotic, more optimistic. It's also an anchor to how we were as people at that given time compared to how we are now. This dovetails nicely with another element, especially for online games, the people. Maybe you have a crew that runs content together, hangs out in voice chat, watches movies, stuff like that. You know these guys, and they know you. You tell them about your day. They pick up on deviations in your login habits and check up on you. This kind of kinship doesn't happen overnight. It takes months, sometimes years to cultivate. And if you're a streamer or content creator, it also helps to have others just like you in that group. There's almost this unspoken code where you know each other's struggles with this kind of stuff. Sure, the folks who don't do this stuff can sympathize, but they can't empathize. And on top of all these layers of familiarity is the game itself, the very thing that brought you together. Take away that familiarity and nothing just feels right. I think that's part of why some people don't like to try new games, especially the online variety. They don't know anyone. Maybe if they're lucky, some folks in their friend group join them. It can be a pretty hard sell, which makes people want to stay put. I'd say having to start over socially in a familiar game is also pretty bad. Yeah, the game's there, but it can be tough finding new friends sometimes. Familiarity is a definite anchor, probably the most powerful one. Another common thread that came up was unique elements. Like PSO2NGS, its unparalleled character customization. There's just nothing else like it on the market right now. You also have NGS's fluid combat system. Other games can have similar mechanics, gameplay loops, and this and that. They all have at least one thing that sets them apart from the others. You've got WoW, which has some of the best gameplay of any MMO out there. You have Final Fantasy XI, which is one of the oldest MMOs out there and has the Final Fantasy name backing it. That game's seeing a resurgence in popularity. The FF14 collab helped draw attention to it, and the game has been made way more accessible than it's ever been in the past. You'll still do better on a lot of things by teaming up with others, but it's nothing like it was back in the day. You literally had to party up for anything worth a shit in that game. If you weren't a white mage, red mage, bard, or whatever flavor of the month damage dealing job, you weren't getting a party invite for a good while. And God help you once you got to endgame. There were a lot of groups who wouldn't deign to bring certain jobs for a lot of fights. That's just how the game was, and encouraged versatility. The game lets you level and use every single job on one character. That wasn't really something you saw at the time. So it meant that a lot of encounters could be tailored for certain job setups. With some enemies that had maybe a few annoying single target attacks and manageable AoEs, you could bring a melee setup. And some fights that had particularly crippling AoEs, a range setup was better, like black mages, summoners, or rangers. And those mobs you don't want to hit too much so as to give them more chances to use those devastating moves. And then you got Final Fantasy XIV, which on the surface is an open love letter to everything Final Fantasy. A veritable Final Fantasy theme park, as it were. Just like with 11, you can play the game as any job on a single character. The combat's more like WoW though, only a bit more homogenized. The greater FF14 community has been known to rip itself to pieces over the dumbest things. And then we have PSO2NGS, the very reason most of you even found me in the first place. And then you have the love for a franchise with its lore and its world building. Yeah, those things definitely keep people coming back to a series. And there's a pretty big one. The desire to see it through to the end. Like you've been following a game on and off for pretty much the entirety of its life cycle. You got yourself a nice crew, got maybe some friends and family on board. Maybe you have a lot of cosmetics and your equipment's decked out. But nothing is forever. There's the inevitability of a game shutting down completely. One day the disconnect error will come across our screen one last time, and that'll be it. What will that day look like? Who will be with us in those final moments? And then in retrospect, ask ourselves, did this game, whatever it is, end up being everything you wanted? These worlds and characters may not be real, but the time we spent with them shall live on forever inside us. So, what keeps me coming back to a particular game? We'll use NGS for example. Well, I like the combat, I like the character customization. If I wanted to be a badass mecha dude, I could do that. Sultry space vixen like Zeota? Bet. Cosplays of characters from other media? You got it. I have a really good group of friends, some of whom I'd call my second family. PSO2 and the response to the videos I'd made about it helped keep pushing me forward during that hellish first year. I can honestly say that these past 3 years have been some of the best experiences I've had with this game. For that I am truly grateful. So what about you? What keeps you coming back to a certain game? PSO2NGS or something else altogether? You know how I love chopping it up with you guys in the comment section and on the streams. Come on by and hang out sometime, we'd love to have you. Anyway, that's a wrap. I hope you have a blessed day. And remember, to thine own self be true. Until next time, farewell.